we go out to, well, not BC. We're going to go to Orlando, Florida. 28 degrees in Orlando this morning. I think you're sweating lemon drops out there. I would be, as we see Shawn Lemon, former Riders, Argos, and now BC Lions defensive lineman. How are you, Shawn?
Doing pretty good. Yourself?
We're doing well. We're doing well. I know you were sitting there listening to a little bit of that, so we got to start there. How did you find out first that Devon wasn't going to be your coach anymore, and what was your initial reaction?
Well, I found out yesterday. I got the alerts to my phone just like everyone else did. Got a few phone calls from a few teammates that let me know what was going on as well.
And what was your reaction? What did you think? Did you kind of feel that this might be coming, or what was your first thought?
My first reaction was I was just sad for Coach Claybrooks. He's a good man. He's been nothing but loyal to me as a player, as a great coach to me. He was my defensive line coach in Calgary in 2013 and 2014. So I have a really good relationship just outside of the business. I just felt bad for him, as a friend.
Mm-hmm. You had a great season, and with that defensive line, one of the things, we had Chris Best in here, former Rider offensive lineman. We had Randy Chevrier in your spot on the video chat yesterday, and I asked him what goes through the players' minds in the locker room when something like this happens, and Chris said, the first thing is uncertainty, because you're trying to find out whose guy you are. Are you the GM's guy? Are you the coach's guy? And where's my spot for next year? So kind of what's your feeling right now in terms of your spot and the feeling of the guys in that locker room as this transition period kind of just gets started?
I mean, for myself, I feel like I put a good showing out for the past 2 seasons. Getting traded and going to a different situation in Vancouver. 19 sacks in 2 years. I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with my performance as an individual. But I know team-wise, we need to get things turned around. We need to get things going in the right direction, because I feel like we got a lot of good pieces. So we can compete. As you look at our last 2 games of this regular season, we're going down to the wire with 2 of the best teams in the Western Conference with our backup quarterback.
Well, you're absolutely right. And this team appeared to have the ship pointed in the right direction, and we saw a glimpse of what this team is capable of. So what's missing in terms of, a guy to lead this thing, or what's really missing in this group to really push you guys over the edge as you guys move into next season?
Well, just you just got to look at the roster as a whole. There's a lot of places that I feel like we can upgrade in. Upgrade in our special team phases, our offensive line phases, our defensive line phases, and just try to get this team to be a lot better, because that no one wants to not be in the playoffs. And so it's a 9-team league, so you expect us to make the playoffs every year.
Chad Isaac on the Facebook feed, because that's great. We have the Facebook feed going all the time, and it's on the wall up here in the studio for us to read. And Chad Isaac says, best rivalry is Hughes and Lemon on Twitter. Speaking of Charleston, Hughes and yourself. He's like, can we have a Twitter all-star team? And he's got the crying, laughing emoji feast. What's the rivalry with Charleston Hughes? Dig us into that a little bit.
Charleston's, he's one of my best friends. He's been a great mentor to me. I feel like he helped me out and shaped me to becoming the player that I am today. I just learned a lot from him, being around and playing with him for 2 years in Calgary. So we just kind of take jabs at each other every now and again on Twitter. And we know it's all for, entertainment purposes, just to keep the fans into the game, because I feel like the CFL, we have a unique league and more of a hands-on league where, fans have access to us as players. And so we just going because we know fans love that type of stuff.
Shawn, how do you see things unfolding? Obviously, as a player, you're going to have a totally different perspective than what, say, we would. You've got Winnipeg, Calgary this weekend. Let's talk about the West, maybe, for the locals, and then the winner of that takes on the Riders. Are you willing to put yourself out on a limb and kind of give us an idea as to how you may see things unfolding here in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I like to take things week to week. So, I'll be more than happy to, join the show again next week to talk about next week's matchups. But, this week I want to, focus on, Winnipeg and Calgary. Winnipeg at Calgary, I feel like, that's a hostile environment for any team to go in. But I feel like Winnipeg has a recipe to get it done this week. The run game is something you need when you're going into McMahon Stadium, to keep number 19 on the sideline. They can control the clock management and, keep Calgary's offense on the sideline. I feel like Winnipeg will be at their best this week.
Zach Collaros was taking first-team reps yesterday as the week opened for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but Chris Streveler was also on the field. Does it have to be Zach who starts if Winnipeg's going to win this football game? And what does that change from a defensive standpoint, having Zach or Chris in that football game?
Most definitely. I feel like, Zach is the more seasoned vet. He can get the ball downfield a little bit more. If I'm a defensive coordinator going against Streveler, I'm going to load the box, and I'm going to make him show me that he can throw the ball downfield. We already know that Zach Collaros, former MOP candidate, can get the ball downfield, so you have to respect that coming in. And with a back like Andrew Harris, if Winnipeg can get the run game going, every now and again throw a little deep passes downfield, I think they can have a very successful day at McMahon Stadium.
We talk a lot about Zach Collaros coming back into Saskatchewan potentially after being here to start the year and having an opportunity to take Winnipeg to a Grey Cup. Well, it's a similar situation in the East, and we've talked about that this week too. And, for Vernon Adams Jr., I say he kind of fell off the end of the depth chart in Hamilton, but he has an opportunity to bring Montreal potentially back to Hamilton with a chance to punch their ticket to a Grey Cup, but they got to get through Edmonton first. Do the Eskimos have a shot here at finding a way to bring their team together and try and get on a run?
Of course, they have a shot at it, but I'm not gonna. If I'm asking who I think is going to win the game, I would say that the Montreal Alouettes will win the game. I feel like, in the CFL, it's all about the team that's getting hot at the right time. And I feel like the Alouettes are a team that's hot in the East right now. And they have a taste of success these past few weeks. And I feel like they have the energy, to get to the next step. They have a good running back as well, William Stanback. They have a, big play receiver in DeVere Posey that has playoff experience, former Grey Cup MVP. So I feel like he can lead by example, make those plays and get the whole group up.
Great stuff. Awesome update. Awesome look at the two semifinals. A couple more for you before I let you go. The first one I got to ask you because it's on everybody's minds because of yesterday, and it's kind of I want to move on from this, but they're just not letting us with the Andrew Harris situation. Now he's an All-Star. So are you happy that he's an All-Star in the CFL, and would you have been okay if he would have been a nominee for Outstanding Canadian or MOP?
That's a good question. I feel like, as a player, I've made a lot of mistakes in my career. Who am I to judge someone else on their mistakes, whether it be, me being a hot temper guy or anything along those lines. So, in life, no one's perfect in life. You just got to kind of make the best of your next situation and take it from there. It's not my place to say whether or not, someone should be voted an All-Star or not. If it was, I would have a vote. That's how I feel about that.
Two quick fan questions, and then we'll let you go. On the Facebook wall, Robert asks, Mr. Lemon, have you been called Mr. very often? Mr. Lemon? What coach got the most out of you in your career so far?
What coach got the most out of me? I would say Coach Claybrooks, Coach Stubler. Those guys, they get to know the player as a person before the football, and that does something a lot to players when you have a coach that's willing to get to know you, get to know your family, get to know how you're doing, get to know what motivates you as a player. So that drives you and takes you to other places. You don't really realize it until the results are done, and you're looking at your stats at the end of the season like, wow, accomplishments as far as winning Grey Cups and stuff like that. I've been fortunate enough to win 2 Grey Cups. I shared one with those coaches I just named, and it was very special to me.
And Sheldon asks, what player or team did you hate playing against and love playing against the most?
I think we all know the answer to that. I would say yes, Rough Riders. I love playing there as a visitor. I wish I would have got a chance to enjoy the new home stadium there as a player. But it definitely you fuels you a lot when you go to that stadium and you see all those sold out fans rooting against you, and if you can do anything to shut them up, pretty encouraging.
Great stuff. And lastly, the Lemon Drop shirt. Is that a custom shirt, or how hard do you got to look to find a great shirt like that?
The good thing is, I have a lot of people like friends, family, and stuff. Anytime they see anything lemon, they always buy it for me because they know I'm obsessed with my life.
That is awesome.
Buy this stuff.
Appreciate this, Shawn. Happy to have you on as our CFL playoff analyst, and looking forward to catching up with you again real soon.
Thanks a lot. I hope I didn't do too bad with my, my picks and stuff.
Oh, it was awesome. And next time it'll be Rod in the big chair, and I know he's looking forward to catching up with you as well. So all the best. Enjoy the heat, and we'll talk to you real soon.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.